I decided to join your High Commissioner to Nigeria to address you today because he wanted to inquire from me what will he tell you about security, and I want to hear from you. If you know me well, I don't like dishonesty. I hate dishonesty. Nigerians don't like me too much because I'm a bit too blunt and too straight for the Nigerian community. So I'd like to hear the way things are so that we can move forward from there. So before I tell you what I know, can I hear what you know? Are you under threat?
No, sir. Not at all. Not at all.
I want to hear the honest truth. Are you under threat?
Absolutely no.
Yes, what?
No.
Very happy here.
Now, I say that because, whenever we took over, there was total insecurity, indiscipline, lack of enforcement of law and order, and then anybody could do whatever he wanted to do and get away with it. Now, until I finish, I don't know what happens after I leave. I'm not God, don't forget. I'm a Christian, I worship God through Christ. I don't know what will happen because God didn't give me the power to know the future. If He did, maybe I would have been happy. Or maybe I would have been scared. But since He didn't, I know as of today that the insecurity in the state has reduced. Business has resumed. Maybe I'm not at the scale we want it to be. I wish I had met it the way it was in 2004, 2003. Because then I was speaker. If I were to do what I did now, maybe business wouldn't have moved. Because all it took to get, there's no magic apart from praying. The next thing I did after I prayed was to ensure that police took in those who broke the law. If you broke the law, you are accounted for the law. But you must know one thing. Those who break this law, yes, one of the reasons for which they break the law is the inability of the state to enforce the law. But the next other reason why they broke the law is the fact that the state was growing, or the country was growing very big, but in the pockets of very few persons. So there was unemployment, there was lack of education, there was lack of water, there was no power, and all that led to total insecurity. We have started a gradual but tedious process of recovering the state. And the first step to recovering the state is education. You will see, if you take your time, go to our schools, you can go for inspection. Our education, first and foremost, is free. We insist on that. We insist that uniforms, sandals, textbooks, everything should be free. Because we already pay the teachers. So why would you collect school fees from the children? Is it because you want to use the money to pay the teachers? The answer is no. And you know how corrupt the system can be. If you even say they collect school fees, the teachers who collect the school fees put it in their pocket. Now we have seen as you go around that teachers even still collect money from parents with all sorts of names. Some say exam fees, some call it some other sorts of names. And we have asked the teachers that we have caught, we paid the fees for exams. So why do you collect money from them again and call it exam fees? Now, at the primary level, you don't need to pay any fees because the exam is internal. It's organized by the schools internally. So you can't say to me, to give exam to my student, he has to pay me for that exam because you're paid salaries. So we're working very hard to ensure that we stop those teachers who collect money at the primary school level from children in one name or the other. We will make some of the laws you will see that will come out in the next 2-3 months will be very harsh laws. We're coming out with very extremely harsh laws on environment. People who dump waste on the streets and all that will go for 3 years imprisonment. 3 years. Why is it that harsh? Because Nigerians don't like to learn lessons. So when we get it right, we can amend the law to say 6 months or 1 month imprisonment. But for now, 3 years, 2 years imprisonment for all those who will dump waste on the streets and all that. But like we said in the law, the commencement date won't be immediate because we also have to provide the infrastructures that will manage the waste. There has to be bags, or everybody must bag his waste. There has to be the process by which we come to your house and pick the waste. There has to be, for those waste who can't come to your house to pick, there has to be refuse bins on strategic areas in the city for people to drop their waste. If you dump waste on the street and we catch you, 3 years. If the bin is around your area and you see people dump waste on the street and you don't do anything, you too will go for 3 years. That way everybody becomes responsible. Then in the same manner, we will soon try to make education compulsory, and if it's possible to criminalize those who don't bring their children to school, we'll criminalize it. Because if we say we are providing education free, you have no reason keeping a child at home. Maybe if it's university, we don't mind, because university won't be able to pay the fees. But for primary school and secondary school, you must bring your child to school. If you don't bring your child to school, we're thinking about what to do. Do we punish you? And all that. So, for us, the first strategic step to restoring the sanity in the city is education. So that's why you have seen the massive investment in education. We have engaged an Indian company that a Nigerian professor brought to us, and our engagement is to the tune, I don't know what they finally agreed, but I know when I was talking with them, it was about $500,000 per school per year for management fees, and 700 million naira for maintenance of the school fees, salary, school uniform, feeding, salaries, maintenance, and in those schools there will be teachers, everything. And they've done wonderful presentation. We will bring them to the public to make a presentation to the public before they commence. We will hold what we call town hall meetings. I know I saw one of the income person here. Now we will hold a town hall meeting, and they will make their presentation to the state. And it will be televised nationwide. We have agreed with them that a total of 483 students will come from River State in the first school they are opening. And non-indigenes, which also will include Indians who live and do business here, would have 145 students. And then the whole of Nigeria will have 72. Each state will have 2 persons, each state 2 persons, plus Abuja. That brings it to 72. And everybody is paid for free of charge. That's why you see the figure of 700 million. The 700 million is per year, is to run the children, give them their uniform, and they all have laptops, and the entire school is computerized. That's at the secondary school level. At the primary school level too, we are computerized, but we're making arrangement to also supply them with laptops. From between September and December, we'll make that arrangement to supply them with laptops. We are building a new university. We are building a new world-class university, but it won't be free. Anybody who wants to go to school there, whether in an Indian or in Nigeria, will have to pay the fees. But we're building. We've commenced the infrastructure development in the university, in the new city. Power. I think power has improved a little. Yes. It will improve more before December. You know, we promised the state 24-hour power supply before December. We are working hard. When you hear extremely hard, we're working extremely hard towards it. Why you have not seen very, very huge improvement is because, take Elekaya, if you drive on Elekaya road, you will see one of the substations we built there. We told PSN to energize it, they refuse. That's why you see me shout that the federal government must remove their hands from some of these things. Now we have finished places that they won't energize. And the reason is they say they need us to take power from somewhere else. So we're working towards taking power from somewhere else other than the Rumola axis. They didn't do it in bad faith. They did it in a professional manner. They felt that power on that axis, if we tampered with it, it will affect Rumola and it will affect Asamade. So we're working towards taking power from somewhere else and getting into Elekaya. I assured the gentleman from the Nigerian Engineering Works that before December, you should also be able to have regular power supply to Asamade. Our target is the industrial area first, because that is the area that will create business and create employment. Before you can talk about residential areas. But whether residential or business, we hope and believe that if federal laws does not stop us, then we would have regular power supply, no matter how irregular it will be. If you don't get 24 hours, let's at least get 20 hours, so that you can reduce the quantity of fuel you consume per day. We believe that if we get this right and business starts, then employment will be generated. Because the money you use in buying fuel and buying generators, you can use it in establishing branches or doing other businesses that will increase the volume of employment that will happen. And in the next area we looked at is area of health. I talked with the High Commissioner. We have established 120 health centers in the statewide. Port Harcourt has about between 10 and 15. Port Harcourt and Obiabo. We intend to get it to 20 because there are so many areas in Port Harcourt that still need some health centers. We are establishing some on Ada George Road. We are establishing some on NTA Choba Road so that more persons can access. And as we set up any health center, we employ a doctor to manage it. I just concluded discussion with your High Commissioner that we would like to establish a medical school. Once we were sure that Indians can supply us with medical teachers, key is teachers. That's why I got established. Because it's not good to establish a medical school and you don't have qualified teachers to teach them. You'll be producing butchers who will be killing people instead of saving people. So we will get the Nigerian Medical Association in Port Harcourt and engage the Indian High Commissioner. If they can get us more teachers who are from Indians, who are professors of medicine that can teach here, and then we can then start a medical school. He and I are talking on that. We believe that if we do that, we then produce more power to manage our medical facilities. We have currently completed 2 hospitals. There are 3 actually, but 2 of them are about to start. One is the dental hospital. I don't know if you've seen the dental hospital at Garrison. Then the other is at Emenike. We have outsourced it to an American company, who is now hiring doctors. They should start before October. We are hiring doctors to start before October. Their management of most of the ailment that takes us to India can be handled there. So we've done that. There's a 3rd hospital inside the University Ministry of Science and Technology that I'm talking with the High Commissioner. If there's an Indian company that's willing to manage it, we'll be glad to go into business with them. Then the final aspect, I had a discussion with your High Commissioner, is the area of agriculture. And I told him, government is not in the business of going to agriculture because we want to plant crops. We are into it because, not even for food security. Not even for food security. If it's for food security, I would not make the huge investment I'm making in agriculture. It is mostly for me, employment generation. We have 4 fish farms that we're establishing with an Israeli company. One is nearing completion in Buguma. If you know Buguma, Buguma is an Asaito. Another one will be at Andone, one will be at Opobo, and one will be in my village. We are doing that to see how much employment we can generate. I also mentioned to him that we have gone into partnership with an Israeli firm called LR to establish a $140 million farm at Eche on 3,000 hectares of farmland, and they will start this year. We've made our financial contributions. They have also made their own financial contribution. What is holding them from starting is that we need to conclude agreements on the land acquisition. So we are dealing with land acquisition. Once we finish with land acquisition, they will commence the planting of the mixed crops, cocoa, pineapple, and all that, including greenhouses and all that. Then I challenged your High Commissioner. I said we need to establish 20,000 hectares of oil palm. If we get an Indian investor that is willing to partner with us to establish the 20,000 hectares of oil palm, it will be wonderful, because that will be creating like 10,000 employment opportunities for Rivers people and Nigerians who live and do business in Rivers State. He has agreed with the manager of Indorama to look for an investor from India who can partner with us to establish 20,000 hectares. We currently have 10,000 hectares of land, which we initially started to plant rice, but we didn't go too far. So I've asked them if they can get us an investor from India that will go into that investment with us on rice farming. Not because, like I said, because I want to eat rice. We can import rice from India. but because we're also looking for employment. So I've asked him if he can get us an investor from India that will go into rice farming with us. We already have, with NDDC, a rice mill near where we're locating the land. So we'll be glad to partner with an Indian firm that will go into rice farming with us so that we can create employment. I think basically you see us partnering with a lot of companies from outside Nigeria. Some of them are Israelis. Some of them, okay, the banana farm is a Mexican. I told you that the banana farm, the gentleman is bringing 20 billion naira to establish 2,000 hectares of banana farm. And we're doing 60-40. He is bringing 60, we are bringing 40% of the investment. And he's already planting the banana. If you go on your way to Akwa Ibom, If you get to Bori Junction, if you go on the right, you will see the greenhouse. If you drive further on the left, you will see the farm. It's 2,000 hectares of farmland. So he's already planting that. So we expect you, for those of you who are who are here in River State, to see how you can work with River State government to ensure that we increase the level of Indian investment in the state so that we can reduce security. I know in the past, you can ask John, he used to drive to my house in Borokiri. I'm sure you'll be afraid to go to Borokiri now. The only reason why you'll be afraid to go to Borokiri is the high level of crime, and the high level of crime is due to unemployment. A young boy wakes up in the morning, has nowhere to go, no food to eat, he's compelled to go into crime. And the state has the responsibility not to employ him, but to create a conducive atmosphere for that employment to come for him. And that's why we think we will do that. We hope that you will work with us to achieve that objective. Please don't break the law. I don't smile at those who break laws. I try also not to break the law. You know, you see government officials drive against traffic. I don't drive against traffic. I want to amend the law of River State to criminalize those who drive against traffic. Most people are tempted, those of you who use army and police. Once I'm buying 2 helicopters from America, 2 Bell helicopters that they have cameras inside. They are security helicopters. Once they land in December, I will ban all of you who use police and army on the road. If I see you with police and army, I will descend on. I've told the brigade commander. The only reason why I'm not doing anything about it now is because I need to enhance more security. Our security currently is propelled by an Israeli company. We have cameras in Port Harcourt. We have lots of equipment, which I don't have to tell you here. But we want to add the camera, the helicopter, so that once you commit crime, our helicopter can chase you, and wherever you go, we'll continue to chase you until you're tired. If you're running to Abuja, I'm not sure you will run faster than the helicopter. And as you're running, we are telling police where you're running to. Once we get in that camera, all those of you who disturb our airports with policemen and army men will be stopped from doing that. If you want us to amend the law to say that if we see you with our police and army on the road, we will amend it. And I've talked about those of you who go with police and army to break traffic rules. You know that to increase traffic flow on the road that takes you to the airport, we have closed all the openings so nobody can turn. Well, what causes traffic is people trying to turn. And now because we've done that, some people are breaking the traffic law by running against traffic. They should wait. Once we amend the traffic law, you will see some of them go to jail. By the time 15, 20, 30 persons go to jail, others will learn how to break traffic laws. But let me thank you and congratulate you. Because most of you stayed back when it was very bad. You know it was very bad. Yes. 2008, 2009, 2010. 2007. Yeah, so a bit of 2007. When we came in, we tackled it, then it increased and increased and increased. And what increases it is when you stop them from kidnapping, they go into bunkering. When you stop them from bunkering, they go into robbery. So you have to tackle the three at the same time. But I think things are gradually improving. And I thank you for staying with your wives, even maintaining this school. There was an Italian school somewhere here. That one closed. The Italian school closed, but the Indian school stayed. And I thank the management of the school. God will bless you. Thank you very much. I'm going to take all questions. If you have questions to ask, for as long as you want to ask. Are there questions from? I think you should be courageous to ask. I don't know why. I'm a very free person. Whatever I want to ask, you can ask. Are there questions? Yes.
Your Excellency, I am basically in the pharmaceutical marketing. So I keep moving around the city and as well as outside the state. One of the biggest challenge I face is this local government touts. About the stickers and emblems. I am very serious and I am harassed. So is there anything the state...
It will stop. I think that is the problem there now. We have met with the councils, we have agreed on the taxes and how to pay the taxes. We have said to them, once the law is passed, you won't see anybody on the road. We said, if we see you on the road, there's a number of months imprisonment. If we see you that you don't pay your tax, there's a number of months imprisonment. And we have agreed, you don't need to introduce any tax that's not approved by this law. So we agreed, we'll call it the tax harmonization law. Once we send it to the assembly and the assembly passes that bill into law and assign it, we will publish what we call the taxes the state can collect and the taxes the local government can collect. Once you pay those taxes, you can drive even to government house, nobody will disturb you. I will say to them, nobody should go to the street to collect the taxes or to anybody's office. Let the people be giving their tax notification, let them go to the banks to pay their taxes and do their business. So give us a few months to get it to the assembly. It's not me, we'll send it to the assembly as they resume, but assembly, it may take 2, 3, 4 months. Once they pass it and assign it, then watch me, I will implement it. Well, it's killing business. It's making people to run away and adding costs to business production in business. Yes, any other question? You're also a problem in that there is a law that sends them to 3 years imprisonment. We have passed a law that anybody doing business in River State and is harassed by anybody, you should leave him there, call the police. They will come and arrest them. There is a law, I passed it to the Commissioner for Police. The law puts you, including your land, if you buy land and anybody comes to you and say, oh, stop this, you've not done anything for the community. 3 years. 3 years. The law says if you have a problem, go to the local government council. Let the local government council go to the businessman and say, why are you doing this to our community? But if you go as a community to stop them, and we discover the problem is the businessmen, they are not courageous enough to report. I'll give you an example. Actually came to me and told me the problem they were having in Omoko. And I said, you're having this problem? He said, yes. Are you ready to face it? They said, yes. Can you report the following persons who disturbed you? I know the people. So I said, 1, 2, 3, report them officially and see what will happen tomorrow. So no, don't. So I asked them, okay, how will I prosecute the people? There has to be a complaint. And there is no, if you complain unofficially to me. Now I'm telling you, put it in writing. Then see whether tomorrow morning I won't leave them from their house, take them to police, to prosecute them in court. They refuse to do that. So you are the problem, not us. There's a law already. I want to test that law by taking. If you jail 15 persons, you will die. Actually, a lawyer, what's the name of the guy? What's the name of the listen? Huh? The what? Land extortion prohibition law. But get a copy and give it to who is the leader of the Indian community? Yeah. Who is the president? Okay, get a copy and send it to him so that he can circulate it around for them to see. It's minimum of 3 years imprisonment. So when you are harassed, find an attorney general's number or commissioner of police and quote the law to him and give him the decision. He will tell you to leave the people there and he will come and arrest them. Listen.
Your Excellency, I have a land in the toll gate area. One day when I went there, I have created that land in order to make a health center and a old age home. And when I went there the other day, they bulldozed it, all my mangoes, all my fence, everything bulldozed. When I asked, somebody said, don't enter here. That's also so I just...
No, who did?
Then it's the Ministry of Transport.
Who sold you the land?
The Elekahia community.
That's the point. They sold you a land that does not belong to them. They sold the government land and you bought government land. And if you buy government land, you have bought nothing. You see, if it wasn't government land and it was the land that belonged to the community, then we can pay you compensation, even though the law of Nigeria says all land belongs to the governor. There are two types of this you can see. There is the one that we must pay compensation. All land belongs to the governor. That one, if we acquire your land, we pay you. But if we have already acquired and it belongs to us, it's like Transamadi, all those people we see building their houses. One day, one young governor will wake up and push all the houses down because they are all illegal houses. Those ones are government land that the community sold. The same thing would have happened to you. I know what you're talking about. Is we're trying to establish a trailer park.
Yeah, but the thing has been shelved now. Nothing is happening yet.
No. It's not shelved. The land has been given to Nupeng. Because it's not us building. The land has been given to Nupeng to build the trailer park, and they came last week to show me the design of what they want to build. Just last week. So it's not us, it's them. That's the day. But what I think is, if we see your documents and we need to help you transfer you to another place, maybe, I don't know. So get my special assistant, his name is Archie, and let's take his number, let's see your documents first. I'm not making a promise, I said let's see. But even if Minister of Transport did not demolish it, Greater Port Harcourt would not have allowed you build, because Greater Port Harcourt has acquired the land from the airport to the seaport at Onne. So when community send you land, including where you have Indorama. If the commission sell you land and you buy, you have bought it temporarily. When the Greater Port Harcourt wants to develop that area and they come to your land, they will demolish it. So it's important that when people sell you land around that area from airport to Onel Seaport, please go to Greater Port Harcourt and say, confirm this land for me. If they confirm it, you can develop. But meet my SA.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, any other question? Yes.
His Excellency, sir, we must appreciate whatever the government is doing for the development of the state. But sir, this Transamadi road is very important road. But please, something should be done.
It was awarded already. It was awarded to RCC for. It was awarded to RCC for 47 billion. But because I said they should put another flyover at Mbogo, I said they should put it because you see, if we finish that road without a flyover at Mbogo, then the traffic from Elekaya will cause further traffic. So I said, stop. Do a flyover there. So there is only a new flyover there. There will be 3 flyovers, and they will start this year. The first flyover is at Garrison, because you know we have closed Garrison because of the traffic. So we'll do a flyover at Garrison, and then open up what we have closed. So that traffic from Abaro can fly across Garrison. Then those going to Transamadi will go in. Now, after that, there will be two new bridges at Waja Junction, and then there will be a flyover at that Waja Junction, the Mogo there. Then there will be another flyover at Slaughter, and then there will be 4 bridges at Woji and Elemo. We are working on that.
So any provision for water line?
For what?
Water line junction.
Water lines? No. I didn't promise that I will solve every problem. Owade monorail. Monorail can take you up to water lines junction. So maybe you can start having problems on water lines. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That road, if it's on Transamadi road, that's what I'm saying. Don't worry now. For all our roads we're building underground drains. So once it gets there, it will take. They have done all the survey, all the topographical studies. It's just to start construction. And why they have not started construction is because I told them to stop until they put a bridge, a flyover at Mogo. So I know what you're talking about, where you have your Honda place. Those also be a problem. Once they get there, they will take water. Just like we did, it's on the road from Air Force Base. When we were building, everybody was scared of drainage. But is there any drainage problem there? There is not. Because we knew we have to harvest water from the homes and for the road into the internal drains. And they converted it to the creek. There's a nearby creek there. The same thing we'll do. There are 2 discharge points and they all lead to the creeks from Transamadi. Transamadi will be a problem. The problem is the money, because the money is big. And there's a road behind Transamadi, I hope you know, that we're doing from the Dr. Deli Link Road. Now you see another road which JDP and Rafol are doing to take you to East-West Road. That again will solve the traffic problem in Transamadi. Yes.
Your Excellency, in your speech you mentioned about the strides you are taking in healthcare. Do you have, your government has any plans of any mass vaccination of the indigenes of River State, like hepatitis B or cervical cancer, preventing the women from the age of 14 till their higher age? You can protect them from cervical cancer. Do you have any plans of investing on securing the future of your children?
I just approved the sum of 2 to 3 billion naira to commence the vaccination of both children and men who don't have hepatitis B. Now, I've just approved that because one of my visits to America, I realized that this whole story about medical care is prevention. So I called the Minister of Health and I said, let's start vaccination now of hepatitis B, A, and C. That we have, but I've not done cervical cancer. I will find out from them. Money is not there all the time, so we'll try and find out where the money is. But I've approved money for them to commence the vaccination of the citizens on hepatitis B.
Thank you.
Okay, so thanks very much.